Today in the crypto space, we see the market still going sideways, Bitcoin and Ethereum still hovering around those levels of potential support. Guys, if Bitcoin does get a nice little bounce here, we could see the altcoin market do very well. However, if we see Bitcoin kind of dip, we could see a further continuation to the downside where we will get those fire sales to buy those dips. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin that many people are talking about. Is definitely getting a bit of hype, and that is called TOMOCHAIN. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of that volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. But better yet, hit me up on those socials. The links are in the description. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord right now is the place to be. Lots of good alpha being posted on a daily basis, trade setups, fundamentals, and a great community altogether. So go check that out. All right, guys, let's begin. What is happening here with Bitcoin? Obviously, nothing much. Bitcoin's still going sideways. Ethereum's still going sideways. And thankfully enough, Tether's still going sideways. And this is what we want to see in the immediate short term, is a potential accumulation. However, us traders, we want volatility. We definitely want to see a direction. And a lot of these altcoins are not giving us direction at the moment. You can see a lot of them very sideways, looking a bit slumpy, to be honest. Like even Polygon now at the bottom of the range. Polkadot bottom of the range. Tron looked like it's wanting to roll over. Solana still looking a little bit strong, but still within range. And Cardano coming down. And you can see a lot of these altcoins not looking the strongest overall. A little bit of a dip, but sideways. You know, I mean, look at even XLM, Stellar, taking a bit of a dip after some sideways. And OKB coming down to lower levels. We have HBAR, Hedera hash graph, looking very, very good in the last little while. Of course, teaming up with the Feds, it could be a very bullish thing, you know, for people that believe in the CDBC narrative. Guys, personally, CDBCs in my book go against everything that blockchain technology really wants to offer society, which is, you know, basically freedom. So really do consider what is happening here with the Hedera hash graph. I am bullish. I'm a holder. I am not saying that it's not a bullish thing from a price perspective. However, guys, from a fundamental, like what we actually need for our society as far as finding solutions to real problems, guys, I'm not sure if the CDBC narrative is what we need. Okay, so be very aware with that, what's happening with HBAR. I'm bullish. I hold the bag, no doubt. I believe the price is going to do very well here, but nonetheless, you know, we have to keep in mind what's happening in the back end as well. Let's continue here. Filecoin coming down to lower levels, sideways. Aptos, sideways. Lots of sideways price action. Quant back to $100 again. You know, Quant is almost like an indicator. You know, getting back to that $100 mark means that Quant is right now currently testing the most important level of support that it has had in the last, I would say, almost a year now. Quant bouncing around that $100 level, guys. If Quant does, you know, break down, it's not looking good for Quant. There's some good levels of support at lower levels, but currently holding up above that $100 mark is what it needs to do. So we'll keep an eye on Quant for sure. If it does come down, maybe we'll buy the dip. And of course, look at VeChain up 3.8% in 7 days. We're getting a bit of proof of life on VeChain. I like what VeChain has been doing in the last few days. So I'm expecting maybe a bit of a pullback, and let's see how the bulls respond to this proof of life. We've been getting a bit of momentum to the upside. Now a retracement. Now let's see if the bounce is harder than the initial impulse. If the bounce is harder than the initial impulse, we got a nice impulsive wave to the upside, and that would be really good, right? A good sign that VeChain is looking for a move to the upside. So I'm interested in VeChain for sure. Very quiet in the last little while. What else? Stacks going sideways and a lot of projects currently coming down. Look at Caspa, and 6.5% in 24 hours, 17% from pretty much where I've been taking profits, guys. I've been taking profits off of Caspa. I took a significant amount of profits on my trade, pretty much on the top, guys. If you've been following me here on the channel or even on the Discord, I've been very clear about my stance on Caspa. I'm bullish, no doubt. But again, when the price action shows me that things are overbought and it's a bit frothy, I take profit. I take profit, and that's absolutely normal and healthy, no matter how bullish you are, to understand that the markets go up and down. There's ebb and flows, peaks and valleys, guys. And you're supposed to be a trader. You're supposed to be trading and buying low and selling high, and that's the only thing that I could say. If the community, the Caspa community, is not understanding of this, guys, it's a very, very negative thing. It's very negative. At the end of the day, we need to be able to vocalize what's really happening here with Caspa. That's why currently the Caspa community is not doing so good. So be aware that Caspa right now is coming out to those lower levels. The tribal effect that Caspa has right now is very strong. The Caspa, all in on Caspa for sure, but you have to understand that it could retrace, and currently it is retracing. And if you did take profits, congratulations to you, because I feel like we're going to be able to buy the dip on Caspa very soon. So pay attention, because I'll be releasing a Caspa update very, very soon. Theta Network looking pretty strong. One of the projects that I haven't been really paying attention to, but right now it's not bad. It's not bad. It's range bound, looking like it wants to break to higher levels. It's been quiet for way too long. In fact, I lost interest on Theta. It was one of my main players. Even up until last summer, it was one of my main coins to trade. It was doing very, very well. Made some great gains in the previous bull run, and I was an early investor in Theta Network, so I did well. But since then, I really lost its luster. So I'm moving on to other projects, and it's absolutely normal to shift around as narratives build and projects come about. Phantom looking good in the short term, but maybe getting a bit of relief to the downside. Like, look at that. It looks like the hang time is real, and eventually it's starting to look a bit heavy up there. So maybe a bit of a dip to buy at lower levels. Render, the same thing. I feel like Render could come down a little bit more. Let's see what happened. Radix is waking up, guys. Radix is waking up, guys. We cover Radix significantly here on the channel. I try to make it as periodic as possible so that we can keep an eye on it. And when was the last time I talked about Radix? Right here about 2 weeks ago, when I was saying accumulate, guys. There's good levels showing up. We've retraced at a good level, and now Radix is up 10%. This is the beauty behind tracking charts and finding good levels of support where we could potentially get a reaction. Right now, Radix is definitely looking really good. 10% in 24 hours, 15.3% in 7 days, guys. But the question is this it? You know what I mean? Is this it? Maybe it's it. It is it. Maybe Radix is done. I don't know. I'm going to put it on the list, guys. I do have a list going for tonight's live stream where we're going to talk about, obviously, crypto news and price action. I'm live at 7:30, so feel free to join. I'm going to put Radix here. And if you have any projects that you want me to cover, obviously join the live stream and you can request them. We'll pull up some charts and come up with a plan. All right. So let's continue here. Injective going sideways, bit of a dip, 3.6%. I like Injective, no doubt. But, as it's coming down, I might want a DCA. Let me put Injective on the list as well. It's been a while since I look at it, so we got to kind of give attention where it's due, of course. Rollbit planking going sideways, still very bullish, guys. This thing did very, very well. So what to expect next from Rollbit? Obviously, if it rolls over by the dip, if it goes sideways, congratulations, because at least, you're not losing any equity here or value overall. But taking a bit of profit is not a bad idea if you were able to get in nice and early. Guys, protect those gains. That's part of being a trader, protecting the gains. Let's continue. Frac share looking strong. It's only 9.5% in 7 days. It's not, a lot, but it's still decent, guys. Still very decent. And look at the overall price action, higher highs, higher lows. And in this case, the trend is your friend until it isn't. So be careful here. Be prepared to trail up stop losses and expect pullbacks, and then scale in again upon a pullback. Let's continue. THORChain, I did cover THORChain in yesterday's video. It's up 10% again in 24 hours. Looking really good, guys. I like THORChain, of course. I always mention THORChain. Whenever I see it, the first thing that comes to my mind is when it moves, it moves. right? It really does move. And it right now we're getting an indication that that's the case. It's up almost 60% in 7 days, guys. When you're in these double digit gains, and especially 60% gains, guys, it's time to really, again, get into that stance where you got to protect yourself, get defensive, trail up a stop loss, take a bit of profits off the top, reduce your exposure to the market. That way you can mitigate risk easier, right? Mina Protocol doing the same thing, pretty much rallying up. Obviously it's not up 60% or anything, but still looking pretty strong. The grind to the upside is definitely there, as can be seen. Maybe a bit of a pullback as a back test, and then a nice spring off a back test, because right now a lot of people are looking at Mina showing some strength, grinding up, and then when we get a pullback, a lot of those people are going to expect, we're going to get back into the grind to the upside upon this retracement, so let me get in now because it's a good retracement. And then that's usually when you get a quick spike of volume and you get a nice bounce, a nice hefty bounce to the upside. So upon a retracement, guys, we're going to be looking for good entries on Mina Protocol for sure. And again, Trust Wallet doing pretty good, looking strong. That's it. That's all it is. 2%, 3%, more or less, and still looking fairly strong here for the crypto space. Now, overall, my consensus is that, it's pretty sideways and dippy. Of course, there are some projects that are rallying up. There's a good handful that are still looking strong, going against the grain of the rest of the market, going against Bitcoin, going against what, the overall momentum is showing us. But guys, overall, I think that we should be prepared. Make sure you have cash on the side, dry powder, ready to deploy if we do get those dips, because those are going to be the opportunities that you're going to get for the next bull run. When we do get those nice green candles to the upside, you'll have your bags packed. All right, guys, let's take a look at Bitcoin. I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's begin our analysis looking at Bitcoin to see if it can give us an edge, and then we'll get into the coin for today, which is TOMOCHAIN. I want to definitely look at TOMOCHAIN. It's a project that a lot of people are talking about recently, a lot of whispers I'm hearing, but at the end of the day, I think we need to pay attention to Bitcoin because it's been boiling over here and the pressure is building, and if it explodes very soon, we could see some volatility in any of these altcoins. So we got to pay attention here. Bitcoin going sideways again, obviously still going sideways, nothing really that interesting, and it's respecting the gap, right? We can see that we do have a little bit of a volume gap here on the daily, and we held perfectly, and we're building some volume here to the point that this is no longer the biggest gap in the world. You can see that we held up, and previously this was an indent, a huge indent here on the price action that eventually showed us some weakness, and now it's no longer a weak spot. We're slowly building up some volume, and we can see the BPVR filling up. So what that means is that if we do get a bounce and a pullback, this could be a level of support for future price action. Now, is it a big one? Not really. You can see that still the price action is somewhat indented still. You can see that it's still somewhat indented. Like, this is the biggest area, the real area of where I'm expecting a bit of support. So you can see that there's some areas that I'm interested in. Of course, I'm expecting pullbacks along the way. We have the 200 daily. We have the momentum just stagnant here in the 50% zone. After coming from an overbought scenario, I'm expecting a full reset to the downside. It could be that we get a bit of relief to the upside, get a bit of liquidity at these higher levels. And as soon as we sweep the highs, maybe start rolling over and finally coming down to oversold conditions here on the MACD and the RSI. Okay, so right now for me, if Bitcoin is in a no trade zone, I'm not really interested in Bitcoin. And as you can see here on the channel, I've been focusing significantly on altcoins because of it, right? Even if we get into the 4 hour and we hunt for liquidity, you can see that these are the levels that we got to look for, not the chop zone. We got to get into the extreme areas. We did kind of get into extreme zones here on the RSI once before, and that was all we got. That was all we got. Why? Because there's no volume, there's no interest, there's no market participants right now that want to trade Bitcoin. It's not interesting. So we got to move on, guys. Don't get caught up in this chop action. This is where the market wants to chop you up and spit you out. On the 4 hour, the volume gap right below is so much clearer. You can see that the 4 hours basically showing you, look, if we break below this level, which is about 28,800, we can snap straight to about 27,150. So for me, this is what I'm interested in. If it does happen, I'll consider this an official backtest of this breakout where the majority of the market went long. You can see based on this price action that this breakout was the zone where a lot of people entered with tons of volume. So in that case, if we come back down and we test that zone once again, we can expect, some movement, some reaction, and of course, I would be looking at altcoins upon that dip. Altcoins could be coming down to lower levels. All right, guys, let's jump right into the coin for today. It is TOMOCHAIN. It's a project that, again, a lot of people are talking about. I've been hearing so many individuals talking about TOMOCOIN lately. And to be honest, I have no idea what it's about. I have no idea about its fundamentals. And this is a great opportunity, not only for myself, but for a lot of us that are here in the crypto space to start doing fundamental research, doing deep dives, figuring out what these projects are about. I am gearing up for another deep dive. By Sunday, I'm going to be releasing another deep dive. So I'm starting to do the research as to which project I should be focusing on. And again, guys, if you have any projects that you want me to cover here on the channel, including doing that deep dive on, feel free to join that Discord. Guys, that Discord, the link is in the description. There's a section, there's a channel there on the Discord where you can request deep dives. And I get into a lot of the thorough tokenomics, fundamentals, a lot about what the project is all about, the team and all of that. Like, for example, I've done one on Unibot, I've done one on Octospace, I've done one on, what was the other one, this one right here, Microvision Chain. These are all deep dives. If you want to get into this project, I do suggest that you look at my deep dives, guys. They're really good stepping stones into buying into a project that doesn't have much price action. So if you look at TOMOCOIN and we look here on the 4 hour, it looks like it has a lot. We get into the daily, it has some traction, some volume, some price action. So in this case, we have something to go by, right? It's been around since 2020, so it's been around for a while. However, we've been getting a bit of momentum to the upside. Now, what happened here fundamentally? What happened to the project? Have they been releasing something interesting that we need to be aware of? And if that's the case, expect a continuation to the upside. However, just big picture, I just want to keep in mind, if this thing goes up any higher, it's going to reclaim previous highs. It's going to come testing the previous highs. Are we in a bull run just yet? This is the question. This is type of bull run action. If we do get to these levels, this is a bull run type of scenario, right? And Tomo could be so bullish that maybe it's going to be defying, the market in general and maybe go to a higher high. It's very true. Now, it's not a new project, right? That it was released here at the bottom and it's consistently making higher highs, similar to like Caspa or, other ones that kind of are making higher highs because of when they were introduced to the market. It's been here a while. And for it to get to higher highs, we really have a lot of work to do, but never say never, right? The only thing that I can say from a TA perspective here on the daily is there's some key levels that we need to watch out for. So let's do our TA here. You can see that we do have different tops that we got to look at. We have potentially this one. We have this one for sure. We have this cluster of supply and demand that is kind of choppy, and these two tops right here. My only issue with this horizontal right now is that the VPVR is not giving me a confirmation. This means that these tops right here do not have a lot of volume, which means that we kind of have to ignore it. Unfortunately, it's not a good place to really consider support. I like this zone right about here. And it's still very respectful to the tops. It just means that these tops, these wicks don't have volume, which means that they could be a bit false, right? And we have a top, bottom, tops, lots of tops with thick amount of volume. So for me, that's an area to watch out for, right? So let's continue. What else do we got here? We also have this zone right here that we have to be aware of. Bottoms with decent contraction of volume where we get into a gap of volume. And I want to make this a little bit more precise if I can, right around here. I like this zone. Let me do better right around there. And then below it, we have an area where we have weakness, which I believe is right around here. Okay, based on what I see here, I see a big weak zone right around here. And I'm going to pull it out this weak zone all the way here because you can see that there's a pattern here, and I'm not saying it just yet, but I want to continue with my horizontals. I like looking at horizontals first. They keep me in perspective, right? And of course, this zone right here is a buy the dip area if we happen to break down, right? And of course, on the channel, that's what I look out for. Opportunities that give us weakness so that we can take advantage of the weakness, right? Right now, this is a weak spot in the chart. We could be buying here. Let me turn these green so that we know that these are buy the dip opportunities. Buying the top of the volume gap and the bottom of the volume gap is definitely a great scenario. DCAing, of course, you don't know where the absolute bottom is, but we could get a reaction right around this zone. Now, we do have the 200 daily EMA that is creeping right up here, which is going to be a very good support level if we do come down as well, and it's very confluent with the top of the volume gap at about $1.03. So $1.03 to about 75 cents could be a great DCA opportunity here. And then, of course, we do pick up with a bit of volume based on the price action. You can see looking left, we have a bit of chop, but the majority of the volume, we got to be real, is at about 45 cents. That's where you start building that point of control, that zone where you got a lot of market participants involved, and it could be that we come back down to this level at a worst case scenario. This is the zone to watch out for. If we do come down here, guys, this is your last line in the sand pretty much to actually DCA with the best risk to reward ratio you can for the up and coming bull run. Look at the bottoms. This is the zone, right? If we start breaking below, you got a DCA, and this would be, for me, stop buying the dip at this level. Yeah, we could buy a little bit more at this volume gap at about 30 cents, but you're gonna have to draw the line somewhere and stop scattering buy orders eventually, right? Because you don't know how low it's gonna go. But I don't want to talk bearish here only, because right now sounds very bearish. Of course, waiting for retracements is very, very possible. And why do I go from that perspective? First, it's because we have data to look left with, right? We do have data to kind of make some inferences of the possible retracements that we could be having. Okay, so let's be real about what's happening here. A dip could be possible. Now look at the fact that we came from overbought territory. We got the bearish divergence. We created a double top excluding the wicks, and then a class B bearish divergence based on a lower high on the RSI. So for me, this is right now looking like a somewhat of a pivot point. Like, it looks like it's trying to, break down. Now, it doesn't have to. We could get another drive to the upside for sure and break this previous high and get to higher levels. And why I'm saying that is, from a short-term perspective on the 4-hour, if you kind of look at this, actually, I don't want to get into the 4-hour just yet. Let me stay in the daily, because I might as well paint this picture for you guys. Right now, this is a cup and handle potential formation, right? We could consider this a shoulder. We can consider this a head. We can consider this another shoulder, and this is the neckline, okay? Let's be clear about the neckline. The neckline is right around this zone, and I did put that horizontal because I found that this was the most appropriate neckline. The reason being is the volume. Look right after this zone right here, this resistance, we kind of diminish the amount of volume that we have. Now, there is a bit, the majority of the weakness does happen after about $2.50, no doubt, but there is a weakness. Look at this indentation within the volume. So we got to be clear. If we break these levels and we break with some conviction, some volume, this could be a nice break to the upside. But if we consolidate here, let me get my pen mark here on the daily. If we consolidate, it could be a nice cup and handle formation. And cup and handles are great patterns, no doubt, but they need to break that neckline for it to actually get bullish, right? If we kind of consolidate here and do our thing right around the zone, we can get even as low as 73 cents, 75 cents. That would still be very bullish, right? The retracement could come down even as low as this, okay? Even as low as here, and then just finally, get that retracement consolidation, and then finally break the neckline. Now, if we break the neckline, measured moves, tend to work out pretty good, and it's going to give you a really bullish price target. Let's make it modest. Let's kind of just put it right around here, more or less. Okay, and give us an idea upon the retracement, upon the breakout, more or less. Let's say we get about to 250 to reach the previous spike to the upside, guys, and potentially reaching this cluster of supply and demand. That would be obviously a nice measured movement to the upside and be able to take some profits. Right now, let's use some extension levels to see if there's some confluence with this. Wow, where do I start? Swing high. Let's do this swing high to swing low. This is a 1.618 extension. This is the 1.27 extension. So we have some levels to really watch out for. So 1.618, which is a good extension level, on 1.27. This is a bullish perspective, okay? Very, very bullish. At the end of the day, if we break out of that big cup and handle, where do you expect this thing to go? It could hit that 1.618 based on the measured move, for sure. And of course, I'm looking for profit taking at that level. 100%. There's no way that I'm going to leave capital in it for the market to take it back. So you can see that we definitely did break to the upside. So in that case, what would I be doing? Scaling out of my position, bit by bit. And at the end of the day, let's get into lower time frames to see what's going on here. In lower time frames, we have a very similar scenario here happening, even in the consolidation here for the handle. You can see that the volume is diminishing. We got a bit of supply and demand. It's starting to look like a inverse head and shoulder. We got the bottom, nice shoulder, also a cup and handle. Could we break out of this neckline? So I'm going to put a horizontal, And I'm going to put this type of horizontal right around here just to be, make this chart a bit cleaner. I'm going to make it a bit thicker so that we can be clear about what's happening here. If we break above, guys, it's very likely that we continue to the upside. If we get that retracement, the cup and handle scenario for the daily time frame is still intact, and it's very possible that we start building a position. So what I would be doing here on TOMOCHAIN is expecting to go long if we break. Now, if you want to be a breakout trader, great. If you want to get in at the bottom of this range, once we start building a range and starting getting confirmations of a low, this zone at about $1 is not a bad time to potentially accumulate a position for the breakout of the handle. So what I'm saying here, back in the daily, is we are not sure if we're going to come down to here. And if you want to trade the breakout of this big cup and handle that could potentially be forming, you're trying to get it in at range lows, which is at $1.03 and at 75 cents at the bottom. So really start thinking about accumulation at the zone for a potential breakout out of this level. And if we do break out, again, measured move. If we do come down, guys, again, you have some options. You can set stop losses so that you can reaccumulate at each lower level, or you can get in nice and slowly, go in with a 30-30-40 rule, and that way you're DCAing and building a position right around the zone for a potential bounce to the upside, where then you can start taking profits here and here. Let's look at what that means. Let's say they were able to build a position right around the zone, more or less, and you were able to take profit, a little bit of profit here. You're looking at 78%, and right up here, you're looking at over 200% gains here, guys. That's why I like swing trading, because I get those bigger bites. I want bigger moves, bigger volatilities to the upside or to the downside, and either way, you're making some really good gains, guys. If I offered you any value in this video, do the channel a huge favor and slap that like button. It does really help out with the algorithm, guys. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join that Discord group. Great community, guys. Go check it out. And of course, I'm live tonight at 7:30 Eastern talking about crypto news and price action. Take care, guys. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.